Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're talking about the Celtics losing in Game 6 last night in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Miami Heat, getting eliminated, and the Heat moving on to play the Lakers in the NBA Finals in the bubble. The Celtics go home and regroup to figure out how they can improve next season, whenever that's going to start, mid-January or whenever that may be. So I had a lot of quick reactions, original knee-jerk reactions, whatever you want to call them. I don't want to say all of them. I might, because a lot of them aren't good. I might hold some of them back. So it's just a huge disappointment. The Celtics, if you think the Celtics reached their goal or didn't underachieve this year, you're wrong. They underachieved. They definitely didn't overachieve, and they didn't reach their goal because they should have at least been in the NBA Finals. That's a fact. And they aren't there. So they were the better team than the Miami Heat on paper, but in the series they got outmatched and outclassed. And that's really sad to see and unfortunate to see. So going down through the organization, just thinking of like the blame for everyone, like where things went wrong. Danny Ainge, he's a great GM. You know, he's pretty good. He's one of the longest tenured GMs, he drafted Jason Tatum. He drafted Jaylen Brown. Marcus Smart was a solid pick. He signed Kemba Walker, made the trade for Kyrie Irving, although that ended up not really being a good idea. And he signed Gordon Hayward, which also has not been a good idea at all. So I'm not saying he's got to go. He's not going to go, obviously. But something needs to change because he didn't construct the correct team for the Celtics to make a run, like a real run. I was saying at the NBA trade deadline before I was making videos that they should have tried their best at least to trade Gordon Hayward, whether you have to include picks or take on other salaries or whatnot. They should have traded him for a legitimate center. Andre Drummond, Clint Capella, Steven Adams. They should have tried as hard as they could for one of those guys. Danny Ainge should have tried as hard as he could for one of those guys, and he didn't. And that's how you end up with Daniel Tice getting worked throughout this series by Bam Adebayo, who went off last night. Daniel Tice should not be the starting center on this team. So, I don't know. Brad Stevens, he's a good coach. I wouldn't say he's one of the best in the league, but he's probably right there at this point. I want to see better out of him too. These plays that the Celtics are getting, like these calls against them that are so obviously like not the right call, that he could easily overturn with a challenge. He does not use the challenge. There's like 2 or 3 calls where he could use the challenge every single time, especially late in games. This guy does not use the challenge. At one point, I was thinking, does he even know? Did he remember that they implemented the challenge? So I don't know. He's a whole different story. He just doesn't seem like a coach that gets on the players either. I don't know if they need that kind of coach, but it's really something else. So I don't know. Jason Tatum he got started too late, too often in games. He would start off very slow and then all of a sudden come out of nowhere and score and put up stats, but sometimes it's just too late for that at the points that he would actually get started. Jaylen Brown was a little inconsistent, but he was pretty solid too. Kemba Walker disappeared at times, especially at the end of that Raptors series, and I know he's not 100% with that knee, but still, it's making a lot of money. Speaking of making a lot of money, Gordon Hayward. The only good thing I have to say about Gordon Hayward right now is congratulations to him on his baby boy that was born. Other than that, I don't want him on the Celtics team anymore. I know he's going to opt in to his player contract for like $34 million, something around that number. And he might be worth like a third of that money. The way he plays. The way he's played since he got here. I know that the ankle injury was a major thing, but that was officially, 3 years ago? So, yeah, 3 years ago. So I think it's about time we move on from the Gordon Hayward experiment. Because, yes, when he came back, the bench looked good, but overall, he might have bought the Celtics like another game. And even then, he didn't really look amazing. I literally watched him miss a wide open layup last night. Wide open. I could have made that layup in the NBA. Any of my friends watching this they know I make that comparison. They could have made that with their offhand. They could have made that. They might have been able to headbutt that basketball in there. And Gordon Hayward missed it wide open. And had some really key turnovers. So, I don't know what you can get for him, if you can get anything at all for him. But he's got to go. And I was saying before I was making videos that Danny Ainge should have traded him, like I said, for, I don't know, Steven Adams or Clint Capella or Andre Drummond, maybe even Hassan Whiteside. He should have tried for one of those guys as best as he could have, whether picks were involved or not involved or anything of the sort. Gordon Hayward should have been gone for a legitimate center. So I don't know. I'm finding myself like repeating myself at this point. Just with that whole center spiel. Marcus Smart took way too many shots. Can't be the leader of this team. He's the sixth man. Your sixth man, like I've said in past videos, should not be your leader. Some key turnovers. I don't want to see Brad Wanamaker on the Celtics ever again. Romeo Langford was an awful pick. Obviously, they missed out on Tyler Hero, which would have been... What a difference that is, because Romeo Langford is, like, irrelevant. One had surgery on his hand, on his thumb. The other one is dropping 37 and hitting some key shots against the Celtics in back-to-back games to send them home. You tell me. So that's really it. The blame about some of these players, and the coach and the GM. It's sad to see. You don't want to see any of that. I don't want to see guys go, but guys like Gordon Hayward gotta go. Like, it's unfortunate. I like the guy, but he's not worth the money. He's barely worth a third of the money, like I said, that he's going to make. So if you can get rid of him, get rid of him. And if you want to involve draft picks, first round picks like this year coming up that they have from the Grizzlies, their own pick, the Bucks pick, please do it. Because those aren't even the best, those aren't even really good picks. The Grizzlies pick is not that great. It's 14th overall. The Celtics I don't know, the Celtics and the Bucks are in like the mid to late 20s. Use those picks in a trade to get rid of Gordon Hayward, because I know Danny Ainge can't pick good players at those picks. He's proven that. He's very good at picking at the top of the draft. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, like I said. The best player Danny Ainge has taken in the middle of the first round or later since becoming the general manager of the Boston Celtics is Terry Rozier. And then like Kelly Olynyk. We don't find gems in the middle of the first round, back end of the first round, second round. We don't find the Giannis. We don't find Jokic or Draymond Green or Jimmy Butler. We don't find those guys. We don't get those guys. We get Romeo Langford instead of Tyler Hero. Which, again, Tyler Hero was already gone the pick before us, but you understand what I'm saying. We get Romeo Langfords. We get James Youngs. We get Kelly Olynyk's. Terry Rozier was okay, but that shouldn't be the best player you've drafted after the 15th pick or later in the past like 10, 15 years. That's not good. We don't get the Chris Middletons. We don't get those guys. We don't steal those guys in drafts. The Celtics don't do that. We draft guys like Jared Sullinger and Fab Melo, rest in peace, and I don't even know. We'll see what Carson Edwards and Tremont Waters turn out to be, but who knows. Demetrius Jackson's, like, those players are just so irrelevant. So that's what I'm saying. If you can use those picks to get rid of Gordon Hayward, I'd rather do that than draft players at this point, because they're probably not going to be useful. More than likely won't be useful. So it's time to really sit back and think about what's going on this team. I don't want to see guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart traded. I know Kemba Walker's like impossible to trade. I don't really want to see him gone yet either. Obviously, if you can upgrade, you're always looking for that, but I highly doubt that you can. But Gordon Hayward needs to go. Tice can stay. I like Daniel Tice. He's fine. He can stay on this team. He just can't start. He can't be the starter. Having him come off the bench would be great. They didn't play Enes Kanter enough. I don't really understand that signing if they're just not going to play the guy, because he looked good when he played. It made no sense. So yeah, it's time to really sit back, think about everything if you're the Boston Celtics, and really go over it, because this is not good. Like the Marcus Smart thing that happened after Game 2 in the locker room, throwing chairs and arguing and yelling at each other, where I said it was either going to be helpful or hurtful in the long term. It looks like it's more hurtful in the long term than it was helpful for the series. So that's really not good. There's a problem with showing up. There's a problem on this team with showing up when it counts. And hopefully they can take this offseason to improve the team. Not only that, but also learn how to close out these kinds of games and win these kinds of games and series. I know I said it just seemed like it was all but over, but I was really hoping that that wasn't the case. And now that the Celtics are done, the Bruins have been done, and the Red Sox are also done. They ended their miserable season yesterday as well, although it was already over well before that. We only have the Patriots, New England Patriots, who won on Sunday. I will for sure be reviewing that game against the Las Vegas Raiders and previewing the next game against the Kansas City Chiefs, who play tonight in probably the game of the year against the Baltimore Ravens. So, got a lot to cover. I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. You should expect that Patriots review and preview tomorrow, along with my waiver wire rankings and Week 4 player rankings I can't believe week 4 in the NFL is almost here already in a couple of days on Thursday Night Football with the Jets and the Broncos. Another awful game on Thursday, but that's nothing new. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm really sorry about the Celtics. I really wanted to see them at least make it to the finals against the Lakers. That would have been a really entertaining and fun series. But again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the support. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like it, and please subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll see you all next time.